Good morning, my peoples. It's 9 a.m. I know gay people and an LGBTQ plus Kiki at 9 in the freaking morning. Well, that's why I'm still in bed. Me? I'm Faye. What? And we're going to have some fun today. We have lots of interesting things to talk about. Come on, let's go.
Rainbows, gay boys, hashtag that girl. Sunbeams, drag queens, L-word. Is that girl the girl of all our dreams? She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, hashtag that girl. Pride-filled, tea-dance, Wilton. Is that girl Latina, but she's universal too. If you find a girl to love, only one girl to love, then she'll be that girl too. That girl.
Created by Hotspots Magazine, happening on television network, The Faye Wet Show's America's first LGBTQ plus morning show. And I'm broadcasting live, which is also available on demand on your favorite streaming channels. It's Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. It is Valentine's Day week. Yes. So in 2025, Hotspots Magazine celebrates 40 years of documenting the LGBTQ plus experience. Happening on television network, Queer News Tonight is celebrating 5 years with 10,000 television stories and more than 10 million views in 2024. We will produce the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. I can't wait. And in the same model of PBS and NPR, we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose mission is to educate and serve the LGBTQ plus community. Next, let's kiki about what's going on in the LGBTQ plus community. I have a sidekick joining me in bed for our first segment called Gay Boys Sleep Late. This morning, I'm joined by my gay guy pal, adult performer, and star of For the Love of Dilfs on Out TV, Alex Tikas. Follow his adults-only Twitter at @Alex_Tikas and catch him as he bartends at the Eagle, Wilton Manors. Good morning, Alex, and welcome back to my bed, honey.
Happy almost Valentine's
Happy almost
Day.
Valentine's Day. It's going to be your first Valentine's Day as a
God.
married man, and we'll talk about that later, so I can't talk about it now, all right?
Yes.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Because if we start,
Then we can't stop. Megan is back, and she's queerer than ever. In a new teaser for Megan 2.0, everyone's favorite killer doll serves a fresh dance routine. This time to Chappell Rowan's sapphic anthem, Femininomen.
Femininomen.
There it is. The teaser shows Megan body rolling and cartwheeling with the text, on June 27th, this bitch is back. Queer fans are eating it up with this campy marketing in full swing. Fans are hoping for a Chappell cameo. Megan 2.0 slays into theaters on June 27th. Watch this.
Hit it like, get it hot, make a bitch, it's a fan. Hit it like, get it hot, make a bitch.
Miss me?
Looks like Megan has been taking Pilates or something. Megan 2.0 serves killer choreo to Chappell Rowan's song. Gay rights all over the place. What are we all talking about? Did you see the first one? Did you see the first, Megan?
It barely sat through. It was so uncomfortable.
I put off watching it over and over. I just could not. And then my wife insisted that we watch it one day and during the day, because I don't watch scary movies. Like, they stay with me and then I can't sleep.
There's a hot adult version of Megan too on that. You didn't know that, right?
No.
I think it's Mila Kunis. It looks like Mila Kunis, but it's not.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that, because I was just saying, like, wow, this Megan 2.0, she's so flexible now.
She's very bendy. She's like, now we have like a little girl that's sort of like sexualized. She's like a little girl sexualized robot that's like I can't.
God, I can't. Like, I don't. Okay, listen, she's creepy, and it's and I'm one of these people that like it's really kind of freaked out about how AI has freaked me out ever
God.
since Will Smith and his movie back then. It has freaked me out, and now that we've gotten closer and closer to AI just being everywhere, which is it is almost everywhere at this point.
I mean, we talked about the AI boyfriend. There's an AI. You know that my friend who's struggling with addiction right now, he sent me, this is what my therapist said. Okay, so it goes through all of it, and I'm like, oh my God, who is this person? He goes, it's my AI generated therapist. I'm like, what? The advice was like, I mean, I was touched by it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how human it was.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It's scary is what
it's
it is, okay? Because
really, really scary.
my wife is a nurse practitioner. She's a psychiatric nurse practitioner. And I know that there's protocol to certain things, just like in anything medical, right?
yeah.
There's a medical journal and it tells you, what to do more, not what to do, but what meds counteract and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, So I get it. AI is basically taking all the information that you're putting into it,
Right.
plus protocol of,
Right.
whatever is protocol, right? From AMA, and then giving you responses.
Right.
But they're not human. There's no way to put that component into it.
And-
But it's still freaking scary.
What if the AI advice is what if it begins to be unethical? What if it's like not necessarily the right thing to
Exactly.
do?
What if they put it all the AI understanding likes Trump? And so they pull from that in
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form when advising you. It's scary shit.
And it's just beginning.
And it's just beginning.
Wait till Faye, 10 years from now, what we're going to be talking about regarding AI. We won't
even be here.
We won't be here.
We won't be here. We'll both be at home and our AI people will be in this
We'll
bed.
be at home, like putting rose.
The producer will be here,
Roses
a
in
robot
our
will be
pool.
there,
You'll be with
and we'll be at home
yeah.
with like roses in our pool,
Roses in our pool,
enjoying
yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah, right.
or dead,
Or I don't know.
or in Guantanamo. I mean, we don't even know.
Or not necessary.
Or
Well,
not necessary.
Wait a minute.
But that's what Elon wants, though.
We're off on it. But wait a minute. Did you know that I was technically, my parents are Greek. They're off the boat. So I'm a natural, like I was born here.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that he can send me home? Because I was
No.
first generation born here?
No, I was first generation born here too.
But anyway.
No, my parents are Spanish. That's it. So we should be okay. But for anybody new that's having their kids here, I think that they're taking that.
Right. We
off
should
the
have like
table.
AI people so that they can take them. They can be us. Like we could have AI generated people.
And then did you take them?
Yeah. Where did we go?
Where did we go? Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this Faye What Show, Kiki, to support our LGBTQ plus community. Pedro Pascal continues to champion trans rights, resharing a powerful message from activist Cecilia Gentil, rest in peace, saying, quote, trans people have always been here and will always be here, end quote. Gentil, who survived Argentina's dirty war, urged, quote, they can do nothing to erase us or make us disappear, end quote. Pascal's support comes amid increasing anti-trans policies, reinforcing his commitment to the community. With his upcoming role as Mr. Fantastic, he's using his platform to uplift voices that refuse to be silenced. Pedro Pascal stands firm for trans rights.
Nothing else from my speech today. Please take this. Do not allow anyone to tell you that this is not a big deal, or that this is just a culture war, or that trans people are overstating the seriousness of what is going on. While we feel the fear and the anger, I also want you to know that trans people have always been here and will always be here.
Oh, how beautiful. Gentil, you will always be remembered. It's been a year since her passing. And so I just love that Pedro Pascal reposted this. So Pedro has a trans sister who he loves and takes everywhere with him. And he's constantly just posting stuff for our community, and he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Like, I guess maybe, if you would ask him, I would think that his response would be like, no, I have to because of my sister, and I will continue to support the community, but every little thing that he throws at us, I'm just always like, oh, like it just.
It's so, like, it's so confusing. It's like I sound so naive when I say this, but it's like I can't believe that this is what we're focused on. The rights of people that are so fucking marginalized.
Yeah.
Just trying to erase the existence of an already like extremely marginalized and oppressed and like people like
The lowest hanging fruit.
like the
literally.
lowest, like literally,
Yeah.
let me bully the quadriplegic, deaf, mute, blind kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like because because he's a threat.
Because he's different.
Well, no, but like it's a threat. It's a threat.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like it goes against all common sense and all humanity and all like compassion and like it's like I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what you identify as.
I don't
It
care.
doesn't affect me.
No,
You're
whoever
not-
uses the bathroom
you
doesn't
don't
affect you.
hurt, It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't affect me. You're not like you're just living you're trying to fucking live your life in this.
Live your life. Exactly. And then listen, and don't get me started on the trans kids, like you're a kid, they think that we're making this up. They
Yeah.
think that we're making up being gay. They think that you've made up being trans.
Yeah.
The freaking president, I'm not going to say his name, to say there are just two genders. I have just taken office and just letting everybody know from
Yes,
now on
so
there's
now
just two genders
that's
and we're
it.
done. Okay? In case you were confused, there you are,
Yes.
And
now you're less confused.
now you're less confused. And now the rest of us are more confused. And, like less than 1% of the population are trans, okay?
Yeah.
According to the census and everything, and understand that most trans people don't even do a census, okay? Because they're afraid of what would happen, So they're not really counted.
Listen, I know you've got those tickets to where you taking the train to like Chile or where are you going?
To Chile.
So we're gonna like refund all that, and we are going first class to Maragaza. We are going to the Gaza Strip Riviera.
Oh
'cause
my
that-
God. Where you wanted to, yeah.
That's where we're going.
Oh my,
Yeah, let's forget that. We're not going there.
We're not going
no,
there.
we're going to,
I can't believe he said that.
it came out of his mouth.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
did. And more stuff like that comes out. And you're constantly like, is this true? Is it not? And you're like Wonder Woman with your bracelets, bing, bing, bing,
well,
trying to figure out what's true and what's not,
It's
But we're not trans. You and me are not trans. So when we look at these TV reports, it's still about us. We're still, like to be named and go, you don't exist.
It's like we're focused on these people. Why not focus on what you said you were going to focus on when you first got into office?
Yeah.
Which is everything. It's like
Everything.
but,
Discrimination laws will be out the window, and people forget that it's not just discrimination against black, brown, trans. It's discrimination against disabled people. It's discrimination against others that are also others.
Others, because they're others.
Because they're others. The reality that every time I turn on the TV, I think that if you're not a white American man, that's what the rest they want to get rid of you in some way, shape, or form.
Nobody invaded Little Odessa in Brooklyn, which is Brighton Beach, and nobody's starting to get rid of all of the Russian undocumented workers. No one's going into Boston getting rid of all the Irish.
No. Here, we've got so many people here that are undocumented that are not brown or black, and no one's looking at them.
Yeah. But it's trans
people. Trans people. Leave our trans people alone. My God. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this Faye What Show Kiki to support our LGBTQ plus community. First dates can be magical. Or just downright bizarre. Redditors shared their strangest quote, "Is this real life?" moments, and some are pure freaking gold. One guy shared, quote, "We were on a picnic. I was doing my best to be very entertaining, and he fell asleep on me. It's been almost 40 years, and we're still together." Aww. End quote. I didn't think that was going to happen.
What a turnaround.
Another post shared a bizarre experience where the date was in the parking lot and said, quote, "Watch this," then attempted a backflip, crashed in midair and ate pavement, end quote. One commenter said how his date was, quote, fucking and blackmailing a sitting congressman for his college education.
Yes,
quote.
now it's something productive.
Wow. Do you have the weirdest first date moment? Because the gays shared their most bizarre first date moments on gay Reddit. What are we all talking about? Any crazy first date stories or only date stories?
So I did take a nap. We were at the cloisters. I was at the cloisters with a guy, and we just lay down under a tree, and then all of a sudden I did fall asleep. So, but he wasn't for me. But I did fall. But it wasn't because he did anything. I just felt so comfortable that I just fell asleep. I mean, I've been on dates where I did get up and leave a date once because he was so the grinder beep beep went on, which is okay.
Yeah. Because you probably met him on there.
Well,
okay, it's okay to beep. No, yeah, it's okay to beep.
it's okay to beep. But it just kept on beeping and beeping, and he wouldn't turn it off. He just kept on going. And the phone was face up. So I literally, I said, I got to use the bathroom. Excuse me one second. And I left.
Oh, and you just completely ghosted him there.
And he said, what happened? I said, if you don't realize what happened, then, I just saved you $30 on dinner.
Oh, God.
You're welcome.
I did that once. I think it was the second date because she was rude to the server. And I was like, oh, hell no. This is how you treat a server. You know what I mean? And I think like we were outdoor seating and like a dog came over and she like shushed it. Yeah. Right? And I was like, oh, bitch, I gotta go.
But these are good red flags. Like we love red flags. Like
yeah, and most of us don't take the red flag and we'll go back a second and third time. Oh, they were just having a bad day.
Let's just double check to make sure.
No. Not me. Like again, those are just two things. I was a server, I was a bartender, and my love of dogs goes beyond humanity many times. So it's like right then and there, I kind of was like, thank you, universe, for the signs. Right? Let's like be done with it. You know. But yeah, like, I went out with another girl who had told me she had just gotten out of jail and like then just, like, projected to like then continue to tell.
Is that hot?
I thought it was hot initially until she wanted to like give me the list of charges and shit, you know what I mean? And like one was like stalking and like stuff like that. So I was like, oh no, this ain't the girl for me, but
I went on a date with a Puerto Rican. I should stop there, but I'll keep going. I went on a date with a Puerto Rican. We spent the night together. I woke up and I said, you know what, just close the door behind you because I have to go to work. I come home, my furniture's rearranged, and my laundry is done.
Oh, I love that.
It's the first date, Faye.
I know, that's true. It's a little much. But I was thinking something else. I came home and everything was freaking gone.
No. My laundry was done and my furniture was rearranged. And I'm like,
yeah, no, it's a little much. He was sniffing all your clothes before he washed
whatever he was doing, but I'm sure that he did it with good intentions.
Yeah.
But it's a little intense, don't you think?
No, it is. I went out with a boy. I used to date boys too, okay? And, it was really boring to me, right? Because it was like a blowjob and a sandwich. And I was like, oh, you're happy, I'm not,
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly. You would be happy. I would. Right?
A sandwich.
And this guy, like, we had sex or whatever in my house. And then I saw him and I was like, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And I went out with him a second time and he had my underwear in his pocket. Like my used underwear in his pocket. And he had stolen it from my hamper in my house. And I was like, oh, man. Mind you, I said I'd never wanted to see him again. And he wouldn't give me back my underwear. Anyway, any crazy first date things that happen to you, please send them over because I definitely want to hear them. And I want to go over with them with Alex Tikas because he loves them.
I live for this.
He loves that. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this Faye What Show, Kiki, to support our LGBTQ plus community. Thank you so much to Alex Tikas for being in bed with me. I adore this Greek god. I just do. I mean, he makes me happy. So, what's going on this week? I know that Alex Tikas has a lot going on because he got married.
One day at a time.
And the crowd goes wild. This is usually when I tell you guys, please make sure you go see Alex at the Eagle, and he'll still be there 3 days this week, all right? One day being Valentine's Day, probably. But But we've got to talk about your gorgeous wedding and your beautiful new partner and me. Talk about me.
Well, thank you, Faye, for officiating.
I officiated the wedding!
Super, super sweet. We kept it very simple and very small. And like, Franco's from Italy and he's Italian and he's like really like, he's a little firecracker and I'm an old firecracker. It's I don't know. This kid he's a special guy. Thank you for making it a very, very special day.
Aww.
And Valentine's Day is right around the corner.
And it'll be your first Valentine's together as a married couple.
And I already know what he got me, so should I tell you?
Yes.
He got me a star in the sky with my name on it.
Oh my God, that is the cheesiest thing I've ever heard. I love it.
Meanwhile, I'm like, we're out of dental floss, right?
You could have gotten me dental floss with my name on it.
I'm so like, this is where I'm like rude. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because I'm like, I love that he's romantic. Because I can be, I can be if I want to be, but for me, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessary for me anymore. I'm getting a little cynical and jaded.
Say that.
He's very much into like what's for here. Are you hungry? Let's eat. What are you doing? I did this. I did that. Like, there's like here's a card. Here's like I'm thinking about you, and I'm just like, and I'm really,
You're not.
I'm not.
Okay.
Like that. I'm
Okay,
really like.
And that's okay. Okay, let's not beat you up for not being like the sappy Greek god that Franco's expecting you to be, right? There's
Right.
love languages. I'm gonna have Clifton Fair on the show in a little
Right.
while, and he's gonna explain a lot about that. Like people are different in
Yeah.
receiving love and taking love and giving love and all
I
of
want
that.
to talk. Like that's a good topic. Like what do you like? I keep telling people, I keep thinking that words are like I don't need you to buy me a card. I don't need you to give me a star in the sky or whatever. I just need you to be kind.
Actions.
Is that what it is?
Actions.
I just need you to say and say kind things, be kind things. Don't. That's what I need. That's what I
you
need more than
want.
anything.
That's what you
Yeah.
need. Yeah. Well, I mean, like Clifton told me like a little exercise to do with my wife and it really has worked, right? It's kind of like you both get an index card and you write your fears on it. What are your biggest fears and what are your biggest hopes? And you interchange the card to see what Franco's biggest hopes and fears are. And the same token, you have to be honest and write yours.
Right.
And then that way you're letting him in to maybe something that you couldn't vocalize. Not everybody can vocalize their feelings, Alex, and that's what you're wanting from Franco, and he might not be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, he's fluent in English, but he's not fluent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A word that I say can mean something completely different
To him.
Yeah.
When I wrote your vows, which I enjoyed writing.
Yes, you did. It was hilarious.
When I wrote your vows, it was such a beautiful, like, significant. I love the fact that, like, he's Greek and he's Italian, and these two beautiful worlds collide in this wonderful way. And, I mentioned Greek tragedies, and and I mentioned Italian pasta and the love for it, and how those beautiful things kind of go together. And then you were able to say your vows. Franco said his vows. Your vows were long. His vows were 3 sentences.
They were,
Okay,
yeah.
but his 3 sentences were meaningful. I love you. I can't experience my life without you. My life is different because you're in it.
Yeah.
He encompassed what he needed to say in those 3 sentences, Alex.
Yeah. And you know me, I'm a bit long. I don't know if you've noticed, but I am a bit long-winded.
That's why I love him. That's why I love him. Make sure that you go and visit Alex Tikas, the married Alex Tikas, at the Eagle 3 nights this week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, I have my weekends off now so that I can, now I'm just like on
So you can
Mondays,
be a good husband.
Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and now I can be a good husband on the weekends.
There you go. All
Yeah.
right. So make sure you catch Alex Tikas at the world famous Wilton Manors Eagle.
Yes.
Let me remind you that the Travel Club is planning Machu Picchu and Peru by train, which will depart on September 17th, 2025. We're going to be broadcasting shows at Machu Picchu, Lima, and a whole lot more. Join us if you love to have fun. Here, take a look and find out more at happeningout.com. happeningout.travel/FayWhat. Watch I want to get our week started off right by telling you some things that are really important to me. We call it Faye, what's on my mind? Valentine's Day is on my mind. You know, what comes to mind when you think of Valentine's Day? Well, for me, you know, it's red, chocolate boxes like this, right? Jewelry commercials and restaurants filled with cute stray couples. So many cute stray couples. So, you know, how about those commercials that say, ladies, give your man exactly what he wants this holiday. A watch from Face Jewelry. You know, it's about time that we transform this holiday into one that feels more inclusive to all kinds of couples. If this holiday is truly about love, no community's been louder about love than us in LGBTQ+. And there's nothing that says love quite like acceptance and inclusion. So what's known about St. Valentine's Day himself? All right, well, what is known about St. Valentine is that he defied the church to perform marriages at a time when the practice was seen as going against the state, right? He brought people together even when larger forces, including his own church, stood to tear them apart. Now to the current state of things. Many people still don't feel welcomed in our cultural holiday that celebrates heteronormative ideals, treating straight as the standard and the normal and everything else as going against or less than. You know, things are improving and people are opening up their hearts more. But on holidays where love is meant to be in the air, remember that Valentine's Day is about prioritizing affection, love, and intimacy above all else. Most of all, it's a day about love proving steadfast in the face of opposition. There is enough gooey and obnoxious love to go around for everyone. This oddball holiday that has been so commercialized within an inch of its life really does have a humble and strangely beautiful beginning. You know, we should all take a page out of St. Valentine's book and make space on this day to celebrate love in all its different and wonderful forms. All right, so that is what's on my mind, right? So my next guest is a friend of mine and a friend of the show's. He's an incredible human, and I'm just so happy to be able to call him my friend. So Clifton Fair is a licensed mental health counselor, internationally certified group psychotherapist, and owner of Be Fair Counseling in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where he provides top-tier psychotherapy and psychiatry. I could never say that damn word.
That's right. That was good.
You think so?
I
don't think so. I don't know. Psychiatry. There. Woof. A true healer and bridge builder, Clifton works with everyone from corporate executives to community members, helping them navigate growth, resilience, and transformation. Welcome back to my show, and congratulations on Be Fair Counseling. Yay! Listen, by the way, it's on Commercial Boulevard. Look it up, okay, for any of your mental health needs. But we'll be talking... how about this? Tell our viewers about Be Fair Counseling in Fort Lauderdale. Tell us.
So one of the great parts about it is that I actually get a chance to work with Faye's wife, Teresa. Thank you.
The Cuban.
Yes. I get a chance to spend direct one-to-one time with her, which is probably needed for my patients because she keeps me grounded. But Teresa's our psychiatric nurse practitioner, which I've never had in my practice before. So it's really cool to actually have somebody who cares as much as she does, who is so connected to the community, and she really wants to do good work.
She does.
So I love that part. We have a clinical assistant who's also an intern, and he's applying for his doctoral candidacy.
Nice.
So he's trying to go over to Oregon. Luke, shouts out Luke.
Hey, Luke.
He keeps me on track and scheduled and all the rest of that. We got some great group co-facilitators, Tommy Morrell.
Tommy is an incredible soul.
Like the mindset that he has about fitness and the heart that he has for people.
Yes.
That part
That
is
part.
wild mix. I mean,
That part.
he's a big dude.
He's a big dude, and he's actually going to be on the Faye Watch show in a couple of weeks. So you'll have Tommy right here in bed, and he's going to be telling us about his trauma workouts. Yes. And I mean, this man is just so incredible. He's an ex-bodybuilder. His father's a pastor. So I mean, like, so much background when it comes to him. And now him working with you want to help other Black and brown men with health, wellness, and all of that.
The amount of information that Tommy has about trauma-informed fitness is crazy. I find myself at times trying to keep up with him. So we'll have a conversation. I go back and I start doing more research in order to come back and say, okay, I got it now, right?
Yeah.
But Tommy is coming on, and we're running a group that we really want to do a lot of good work with the cis and transgender community, cis and transgender men, because there's something that has been that's come out, and we've been wrestling with it as a society, which is toxic masculinity.
Of course.
But there's also space for healthy masculinity. What the fuck does that look like? Nobody's really kind of like saying like, this is what the inverse of what we don't want is.
Exactly.
So we want to be able to do that. We have a group that we're going to start. It's got Trauma Informed Fitness as well as the process version or the process side of things. So we're not just going through movements. We're telling you and teaching you how the trauma is stored in different parts of your body as men, period, and how that's prohibiting or helping you get through workouts, get through life, how it's stopping you from achieving your goals, and how it's also promoting maybe some internal drives that we really do need to take a look at.
Wow.
So I'm excited about it.
You have to be. You have to be. I mean, I saw the facility on Friday. It was my first time there. It was the grand opening, and the space, there's huge. There's places for group therapy. I mean, it's just a beautiful location. I got to ask you. So, the world was worrisome and scary right now with the current president and all these things that our community is feeling that we're being attacked by all sides. People are worried. What are like the biggest obstacles that you see coming through your office when it comes to mental health?
I think one of the biggest things that most of the patients that are coming in are experiencing is that heightened level of anxiety, really just trying to keep it together. Those words, ring true throughout the walls of the practice as well as in the community. But having some place where they can come, whether it's a conversation with you right here in this bed, or it's a conversation in the office, and being able to talk about where they're feeling stuck, where they're feeling stressed out. How can they grab a hold of the speed at which life is moving and the information's flooding in from the capital all the way down to, the local municipalities. Like, how do they get their hand wrapped around that? And so what we're trying to do with them and at Be Fair in that space is we're just trying to, let them know that they do have a large space that they can come and dump. They can come and get some resources, some tools, because it's not just about us. We also have connections with those respective community-based agencies where we can refer them out to.
I love that.
Right. So we're like
one-stop shopping, really.
Well, we try to actually be a good vessel, right? Because like if they were just coming to us and that's where they got all their good, I feel like that would limit them, and it would also limit us. But knowing that we have such amazing people that were there like Friday night, they represent a lot of great group community-based agencies. Like we can just like keep just pouring into them from all different areas.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and I'm always telling you folks from this bed how important mental health is. And I know that there's a huge stigma around it, right? A great foot through the door is groups, group counseling. I mean, like for me, I'm in recovery, and like I wouldn't have stayed in AA if it wasn't for the fellowship, if it wasn't for the groups, because we're constantly in isolation in LGBT. Like when we're sad or anxiety, we isolate and we're like, nobody knows what I'm going through, right? And that isolation. Is that what it's called?
Terminal uniqueness.
Terminal uniqueness. Yeah. I love that. And it's not bad, folks. We all kind of have it, right? We all if you were like me, you would drink too. If you had my life, no one else understands. What I've been through when I was a kid, this happened, blah, blah. And then you're in a group session and you hear that every mofo in that group has gone through something.
Like that immediately takes away the weight of a lot of it. A problem shared is a problem cut in half. That's directly from the room. I did not coin that. All right.
He's like, I didn't steal that.
Absolutely
Sorry,
not. Like, please don't call me 12-step members and be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? I don't need that.
No.
I don't need that smoke. So, but a problem shared, a problem cut in half. And the wild part about group, which I love, and I learned this from my dad and my mom, my big brother, my grandmother.
Who are all psychotherapists. They're all therapists and psychotherapists. I mean, they're like, big and incredible.
Oh God, their head's gonna pop off now.
No, they know it. Like I was souping them up on Friday. I was like, how could Clifton not become what he's become with all of you guys looking over him? I mean, he couldn't just go become a cook, which is nothing wrong with being a cook, and Clifton probably can throw down. But
the pressure
of having a brother, a mother, a father, and a grandparent that were all in this field, that they felt the necessity to help others in this way and made it their grand purpose. How could you not?
Right. It's like,
you were destined.
You don't get away from it.
You don't.
Right.
You don't.
But
and your mom seems a little mean. So.
She's a firecracker, y'all. I'm telling you, she's spicy.
She's
that
like
red
4
hair
foot
is
nothing,
true.
but
But like, Dad taught me, he said, Cliff, group is a microcosm of your world, right? So like when you go into group therapy, it can be overwhelming. It can be overly stimulating. It can be stressful. But the fact that you're coming into a room where other people are also joining you in that space, and they're coming and they're talking about something that's going on in their lives, you get a chance to see how you relate to them, how you connect to their story, how they can connect to your story and they can relate to you. And all of a sudden you have people rallying around you as you rally around them to help figure things out. And that part just means the world to me, because it takes a lot off my plate as far as a therapist. I don't have to have all the answers, right?
Yeah.
That's some internalized pressure that some of us go through.
Of course.
But the other part is like, I really get a chance to watch people light one another up. Like, just to see somebody sharing and then another person crying, another person laughing. Like, I love that part.
Yeah, yeah, because it takes one candle to light another, and it's just such a beautiful light at the end,
it feels good.
And man, whatever that end looks like, it's just so worth the journey.
Definitely.
You're putting time in for you, So at Be Fair, you also have couples counseling, right? I mean, you guys offer just so much. Again, mental health is key, especially right now. Okay, so please look into Be Fair counseling. But so you guys do couples counseling also. And what common issues do couples come to you with?
I think one of the biggest things in that is the communication, right? Like, I'm not being heard. They're not speaking up, stonewalling, isolating, like these core fundamental challenges that we run into in relationships. Like you were saying earlier, we were talking about, it's not terminally unique, right?
Yeah.
We all go through that depending on how much we got going on, the stresses in our own respective worlds, how much what our bandwidth is. Like whenever we're going through those things, it's easy for us to start, recoiling into ourselves and not folding under pressure, but just trying to think our way through things whenever you have somebody right next to you that's just like, hey, I'm here for you, talk to me, let's go through it together. Sometimes we try not to put that on our partners, and then in return we end up
putting it on their partners.
Yeah, we push them away. It's the wildest thing.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to deal with that now, but you're also pushing the one who loves you, your partner in life away. So it's Valentine's Day week, right? I got my heart on my shirt. You got your beautiful heart. You got your Valentine's Day pants, which I love.
I tried to pull it together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you. Oh, I love it.
Wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more.
There's more.
Okay.
There's more.
Teresa, you better step it up.
Right. Teresa, this from us.
There you go. Oh, that's awesome, Clifton.
That's a little treat and a little smooth.
I love it. Oh, yay. Look at this. Happy Valentine's Day, folks. My first Valentine. I love it. And it's from Teresa and Clifton.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, Teresa.
I got you.
He saved your butt. He saved your butt. She's always saying, she'll say, hey, Valentine's Day is for novices. It's not when you go, for us, okay? We've been together 10 years, right? We always make sure we spotlight Valentine's Day, but we don't make a big deal by going out or whatever. We'll do the flowers, the cake, and the card, and we'll talk to each other. You know what I mean? And we'll have a meal together. Usually we're going in all 14 different directions, but we make it a point to stop, and just give each other some time, like I said, so it's Valentine's Day week, and I thought it was important to have Clifton in bed because, I know it's a very commercial holiday, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, but you can also use this time to work on your relationship, right? And if you have a partner, they should be one of the most important people in your lives, and they should be worth the time, So as a therapist, you help couples with their relationships. And, I got to ask you, I love David, your partner, your fiance, right? Do you use these practices and teachings at home with him as well?
So for anybody listening that's ready to pounce on me or judge me for this, you can stop or you can kiss my ass. I don't know. It works. So
it works. It works if you work it.
I'm not going to tell somebody in my practice to do something that I wouldn't do.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Right? How dare I sit there and read from a book and tell you how to live your life? And I'm not doing that. I'm a hypocrite. So one of the big things that I talk to especially my couples that have been together for a while, is do the hopes and fears, right? Hopes and fears is where each one of you take an index card and you write out, what are your biggest fears that you're wrestling with today?
Wow.
Those look different today than they did before, right? You know, having a partner who may be older, you know, with the intergenerational relationships, you think about, you know, what is the health looking like for either one of those two people, right? And so, you know, that's a real fear. And sometimes we just carry those in us and we respond neurotically throughout our relationships because we're not addressing something that's kind of bringing up this stuff, this ickiness that comes along with that core issue.
Wow.
So, but the hopes also give relationships an opportunity to breathe, right? You want to breathe the life into each other. And if I know what you're wanting to get accomplished in your life, I can find ways to respond to that, to rally around you. Sometimes we just need the pom-poms to come out and just shake those things in each other's face.
And with the fears, the same exact way. Like
Right.
sometimes you go through life thinking that the person that you're sleeping next to has the same exact fears as you. And then when you see it on a piece of paper, you're going to be highly surprised, you know, or you might be highly surprised to find out something that you probably didn't know.
And you know what? Like we are in relationships with people for, you know, 1 to 10 to 15. Some of the couples that I work with are in relationships for 40 years. And the wild part about it is that some of those unspoken needs are true for a 10-year-old relationship as well as a 40-year-old relationship.
Wow.
So I feel like that's a really key exercise that I would encourage all couples that are listening to this. Please do that.
I love that. Okay, Sieb, okay, but like hopes and fears, that's awesome. You know, you also gave me a few ways to work on your relationships and kind of make Valentine's Day happen every day, right? Because it's funny, because I sent Clifton like some ideas and he instead sent me back homework, right? And was like, this is what we need to talk about. So here, put it in your show, all right? So you had said, you know, a way to make Valentine's Day every day or to make your relationship solid and work better for both of you is giving the gift of individual improvement. What does that mean?
So I love the fact that my relationship makes me better. There were areas that I struggled in early on in the relationship. Part of that was communication. I expected my partner to communicate the same way that I did. So what we've grown to do for one another is, you know, David's challenged me on being more patient, you know, and he's also challenged me on being better at relaxing. So he'll give me the challenge of, hey, it's a weekend. I know you want to get in the office and keep doing work and make the practice grow, but I challenge you to just lay on the couch with me
And do nothing.
Oh my God, it drives me nuts. Oh my God, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
How long has it been? Oh, it's been forever. And then David's like, it's been 8 minutes, Clifton. It's been a whole 8 minutes.
He was like, but the show just started, right? So, you know, so like those things mean the world to both of us because I see him wanting me to get better, right? And not just in being a therapist, not just being a father to his children, you know, or a son, right?
Yeah.
He wants me to be a better partner. He wants me to be a better lover, you know, and he challenges me in those ways as well.
Okay.
Nothing's off limits as it relates to encouraging the person that you love to be the best that they can be.
I love that. I love that. I read a book about love languages a couple of years back. Ooh, you got all excited, right? And it's like, you know, you really have to, you should try look into that, right? And everybody has a different love language, and people have gifts, and people have time, and people have, a lot of touch.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But everybody's different.
Everybody's different. And you know, the way you receive it, the way you receive love, your love language for receiving it is not the same way that you give it or show it, which is wild, right?
It's wild.
People are like, yeah, this is my love language. No, you got several. It's not just one. It really does depend on who you are as a person, and maybe even sometimes just the setting itself. You know, some of us live with family members who we may be responsible for taking care of, and you know, me slobbering on David in front of my parents, it's not necessarily something that they would maybe always want to see. They can appreciate a pet.
Yeah.
So just a touch, you know, a physical touch is something that that I appreciate from him. So I like to receive that. David is really good with words of affirmation. So he really does, you know, he likes to pull out his pom-poms and talk about how much he believes in me, you know, whereas mine is acts of service. So I really want to make sure that I show up for him and I get him to be able to relax a little bit, or he can actually hear and see me putting some work into the way that I love him. So it's interesting.
I love that. Next way to just keep your relationship just on the up and up and working best for you is finding reasons to celebrate your love. Is that like anniversaries? Is that like
So when a person goes home from work, let's say you worked from 7 to 9. I'm not recommending that, but let's say you did do something that wild. Not that I've ever done it. But if you're coming home that late, you being able to have like a handwritten note on a sticky note and just placing that next to your sleeping person, right? You being able to wake up a little bit earlier than they do in the morning, make that cup of coffee in order to leave it on the side of the sink, with I made this little plate and I took icing, like red icing, and I wrote the letter I, the heart, and then the U. And every time I wake up, before he does, I make some coffee. I put it there on the side of the sink on his side, and I put the little plate to cover it to try to keep it warm. And like, that's just at least to let them know, like, hey, I still love you. I may be missing you right now.
Yeah.
But my love's still here.
I love that. You also advise to learn how to say I love you without words. Is
Yes.
that kind of the same kind of way, like by leaving a post-it note somewhere?
Yes, 100%. Also, I like to do this mirror exercise where with some of my patients who are struggling with like self-esteem, I'll give them like, hey, I need you to take the lipstick and, write some affirmations on the mirror. But you can do the same thing, and it's not verbalized, but it's, it's written. You can do the same thing with that. It's we can take little comics or little pictures of ourselves doing something together that we already have, and just stick that in random places throughout the house or in their office, and they
love
stumble
that.
across it, and all of a sudden it's like, they get that warm feeling.
Yeah.
You get it too by doing it,
Yeah.
So that's just,
I love that. But those are little things like that, and for some of us, eso no nace. Like, it doesn't come from, it's not something that we think about automatically, right? That's why Clifton's giving you these keys to do that, right? Like, I know couples that have been together 30 years, and if you left a note and a cup of coffee on the side of the sink, they're going to think something's wrong with you because you haven't done anything in years. Well, break that, change that, like, what are some simple to-dos that couples should practice? I know that you said like date night is very important.
Date night's very important.
You've got a new practice going on. You've got parents that are of a certain age. You've got kids. You've got so much stuff going on. How do you have a date night?
But you know who I'm engaged to.
I'm very well
right?
aware.
Like,
He makes sure you have a date night.
he'll let me know.
Okay.
But also we give each other permission to be that accountability buddy, right? To be that mirror to each other. So, and I'll let him know, please don't ever feel like you can't come to me and say, hey, I need you to pick it up in these areas, because I would be afraid that I allowed too much time to go on and he wasn't getting that from me. And like, what does that do to him?
Yeah.
Like, and like the next leg of that is like, okay, well, now the relationship's taking such a hit that, like, where does he get that from?
Yeah. Where do you go from there?
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't want that.
Yeah.
I will do everything in my power to make sure that never happens. Right. So, so I try to keep my caseload light on Tuesday nights. I try to keep it light on Wednesday nights. And on the weekends, I've noticed that I spend a lot less time during the day, like the afternoon, evening, trying to get work done, right? Because it's easy to get caught up and captivated in everything else at the office or with family. But like we commit that time to each other. And even if it's late at night, he's usually there waiting for me, which is amazing. And I say that not to turn into some sap, but he's he's there, for a conversation. He's there as my friend that's waiting to hold that bucket while I, cry or throw up in it, whatever it
At
is.
the same time, sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You asked about being having your partner be your accountability partner. Is that something that you would ask permission to be?
So I ask him that permission because I know how big my personality can be sometimes, and I'm quick to say, well, I think I think I've gone through this before. I may have helped someone with, like the therapist comes out sometimes. So I have to ask him, do you mind if I give you some feedback on that? What can I do in order to show up and be supportive of you in like this next venture? Because he's jumping off into doing something himself. He's about to, he's launching himself into the Fair Associates brand, which is just the coaching and executive coaching and board membership.
In his spare time.
Yeah, right. While he's holding the bucket, he's talking to people. But so he's doing that, but he's made sure that he and I both have that space to like really kind of challenge each other to continue to grow.
Okay. And then that makes total sense. You also mentioned, and this one, I want to give you an example, right? Supporting instead of confronting. Supporting versus confronting, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us have been burned in LGBT from past relationships, from past people. And unfortunately, we bring that shit into our new relationships sometimes, right? So then our new relationship might do something that kind of raises a red flag and they're not doing anything wrong, right? Example, right? My friend had some condoms laying around, right? And the partner found them, right? And that's not something that they share together, right? So it was a big red flag, but it was just that the condoms came in a bag that was given out at one of these events that we went to, and the condoms just so happened to be there, right? In that aspect, the partner maybe how would it be different to confront versus support?
So, I try to make some of those comparatives with like when people are, get their toe stepped on. Immediately there's a reaction to the pain, right? So it's the same thing in relationships when somebody gets their heart stepped on by the other person and they really don't know it, right? So the issue with the condoms, hey, I want to ask questions. I want to better understand. Like you saying those things to that person.
Instead of saying, what the F? What are these? What's going on? What's wrong with you?
Exactly. Instead of doing that, where we're speaking from our pain, right?
Yes, speaking from our pain. Okay, that makes sense.
Right? Or speaking from those fears.
Yeah.
And I said something about being neurotic early in my, in relationships. Like, you don't have to do that. When you know better, you do better, right? So asking questions, asking for greater understanding, because we want to get to understand and know the person that we're sleeping next to a little bit better every day.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? We ask questions.
We ask questions.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, God, I'm an interviewer. You know what I mean? That's what I should be doing. That's what you need to do. It doesn't matter how long you're with somebody. You don't know everything about them. You might think you do. Okay, but you don't.
They're an individual.
They're still an individual, and they're still growing. And there's things I forgot about my past that sometimes pop up, and I'm like, oh shit, that did happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So with questions, you kind of like, you fill in those gaps, right? And it might just nourish your relationship even more. So how can it be Valentine's Day every day? You mentioned something about if I died today, what would be the last thing that my partner would hold on to from me?
So oftentimes we're going out of the house or we're exchanging words in such a rapid rate, and it's easy for us to like forget who we're talking to, because you just hung up with the phone with the last in pain person, or you just watched the next hurtful thing on the news, and this person sitting next to you is trying to understand you more, or trying to like figure out what's happening for you, and sometimes our mouths move faster than our brains do, and we open our mouths and poop falls out when we know better. So just trying to slow down and make sure that the next experience that I have with my David, or the next experience you have with yours, is one that they will be able to hang on to if I don't make it back home. If and I say that, God forbid, something happens and I miss out on being able to recapture that moment. I want to spend less time recovering from things, and I want to spend more time remembering, right? Remembering the excitement, or remembering that beautiful moment that we had. So that's what I meant. Just kind of like make sure we remember that.
But I'm a little morbid, I guess. I think I'm a little morbid, or a lot morbid, because like I'm very intentional before I leave the house. I always make sure that it's at a time that I can give my wife a kiss. I'm blessed that my wife works remote for a lot of her job. So I don't know, like in my mind, I want the last thing, God forbid I get on 95. 95 people, right? I get on 95 and something happens, right? I would never want to leave the house mad or have her feel unsupported or anything like that. I would hate to leave someone with the last words being a negative, right? You know, even if it's just, and it's not just, but even if it's I love you and a kiss, I would love for that to have been if something horrible were to happen, you know?
But sometimes you know as well as I do, and you watch people go through it on a day-to-day basis where the injury that they're suffering from is much greater than their ability to discern the next best thing to do. So their pain is outweighing the the possibilities.
Yeah.
So if anybody's going through that, the recommendation is to try to slow down and remember why you're in that relationship and who that person is that you're in that relationship with.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so you've got somebody in LGBTQ plus that is your partner, and it's Valentine's Day, and you see everybody around you giving flowers and giving the chocolates, right? What is the right gift? Is candy okay? Like if you haven't given a gift to your partner in years, but you saw this and you're like, I want to do something, you know what I mean? Different. I want to work on this. Like, what would you advise?
So I would say if your partner has diabetes, and right.
Ozempic, here you go.
Right.
Here's an Ozempic pen. No.
Like don't do that. Like you're a bad person if you're giving your partner candy. No, like you just want to stay mindful of what your partner is or is not wrestling with. I think those like the candies really are sweet, pun intended, sweet sentiments that are kind of added to the gift bag or whatever. But my biggest recommendation is quality time, right? If you can take, I guess I would actually recommend doing it every day if you could, make a moment more beautiful than the last one. But if you can spend some quality time with that person, a handwritten note on a napkin is even more valuable and priceless than picking up the perfect card.
Yeah.
Because it's your words that you're able to give to that person, and it's not somebody else's that you're repackaging. And it's not to say that there aren't beautiful cards out there, excuse me. But the recommendation is to make sure that you are doing everything that you can in order to make sure that you've opened up that chest cavity and given that person that you love a little bit more of it, right?
Yeah.
So however you do that,
However
candy,
you do that.
card, note,
Yeah.
toilet tissue,
Whatever it is, make a toilet paper into a rose. Who
Yes.
knows? I mean, the thing
Yeah.
is, it's something different, And I will say from this bed that if you do want to buy something with the current climate that we're in, I would advise you to go to an LGBTQ plus owned and operated place to get something. I would advise you to go to a BIPOC place that's owned and operated and buy something from there to give to your love.
some eggs.
Sorry,
my bad.
No, some brown eggs.
Some brown eggs, yes. Some brown eggs. Remember that one.
Sorry, we're a mess. So you were talking before about the fears and and the cue card that you were saying for couples. What else do you tell couples that have been together 30 years or longer and no longer feel the spiciness? Maybe they feel like roommates, because it's been so long. What can they do to spice up their life? I know that you said naked twister, and I was like, somebody might break a hip, but they'll try it. You know what I mean? But maybe in doing so, it might be a fun time. You know what I mean? Like.
So, and you know what? I mean, I really believe that would be really cute for people to write back and say, hey, this is what we experienced. Don't send us medical bills because we can't pay them.
Yeah. It's not enough.
We can listen.
Yep.
The idea would be like taking a moment and like the scrubs, right? So I'm telling a whole lot of information.
Yeah, you are. I love it. Sorry, David.
Right? Listen, you need to take up for me.
I always got your back.
So we like to float. So we like to float in our pool, and like that. That's just like really awesome quiet time. There's no music. It's just us in the silence in the night. And we're just like floating and hand in hand, just like chit chatting or just in silence. And I love that part.
I love that.
I haven't done it in a while, so we got to do that.
Yeah.
Don't tell them. I think I'm going to do it, right? Valentine's night.
I love that.
And I put the candles around the pool, right?
It's so sexy.
Right?
Yeah.
And like one year he took the roses and he put like like some nut or bolt or something to the bottom of a ribbon, and he dropped that into the pool, so the roses were like suspended in the water, and it was just so cool. Like I
Oh my
walked into the house, and I was like, oh my God, you bad.
No, right? Yeah. Like, oh, David is so resourceful.
He
I
is.
swear.
He is. So, and like one year I got a chance to like, you could take balloons, and I saw TikTok, love TikTok, right? They had where we actually took roses, and I put them on the bottom of a string and had a helium inflated balloon, and they were just kind of like dancing in the house as he walked in.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
I think
TikTok, thank you.
I killed him on that one.
No,
Like,
you totally did, but you had to come up faster and harder after the pool. You know what I mean?
I had to.
You had to. TikTok, thank you.
Yeah, and another one is like scrubs. So like getting one of those like jars of like
The body scrubs.
yeah, and like your partner can't reach their back. Like
Yeah.
that alone is something that's like self-care, also supportive, because you're scrubbing some of that, you're exfoliating some areas that they can't get to.
Yeah.
But it's also super sensual. It gets you back in physical touch with that person that maybe you have grown apart physically. Maybe you haven't been able to appreciate them as much as you used to physically, right? So to find ways of being able to give to them in those ways and watch your spirit be renewed.
Reignited.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that. Like me and my wife have been together 10 years, and I definitely make it a point. I want her to know that she is the love of my life, that I love her more every single day, that she's beautiful, that, with the understanding that, like, we're not Jerry Maguire. She didn't complete me.
Right.
I was complete all before her, right? We just came together and became this awesomeness of a power couple,
100%.
and I never want her to forget that.
I watch her and she hasn't, right? Like I watch her smile. I watch the way that she carries herself. That internal strength that I see in her is something that's unique to people that actually know that they're loved, that know that they're appreciated, they know they're celebrated, because they walk out into the world and you can just feel that sense of body armor because they know that they have people that are wrapping them up and really working hard to make sure that they're loved.
Yeah, and it's a weird feeling because I've always been with very jealous people, right? And Teresa's very secure. She knows I love her. She goes out of the house and doesn't have a care that I'm gonna go off and do something, right? I check in all day long, not because I have to. It's just out of respect.
Yeah.
Like God forbid something happens to me. You
like
know,
making that connection with her too.
I want her to know that it's us against the world. That if she says, we got to dig a hole, I say, okay, let me go get the shovel, and there's no question.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna kill anybody or anything like that, but you know what I mean.
Apocalypse, whatever.
We love end of days.
Right.
We love end of days movies. That's something that me and my wife have in common. So we're always like, okay, if shit happened, all right, you're gonna learn how to fly. We gotta figure out what we're gonna do. We have about 20 people we can tell to join us. We're out of here. You know what I mean?
You gotta play it.
We
I
gotta
love
plan,
it. I love
you know
it.
what I mean? But
David, we gotta work on that.
we gotta work on that, but I'm constantly thinking, okay, am I doing enough?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never want it to be, I never want her to feel unloved. I never want her to think for a second that I feel less than I did yesterday,
I think that's where it also is important that we also ask for that. We ask for that. The words of not validation or reinforcement, but we ask them to share with us if we aren't showing up in the ways that they need. And it's not that we need to fill them up, but if they do need something extra, like we're accustomed to giving, but if you need a little bit more, we got that too.
Yeah.
Not to the point of like draining each other, but hey, sometimes we need a little bit more of a boost or a bump or an extra hug.
Yes.
And I think that that's really key in everything that y'all are already doing. Just making sure that our partners know that, like, hey, I'm open to hearing if you need something else.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I try my best not to, like, well, you know this, I've spoken to you about it. I don't drag Teresa through all my events that I have to go to. I have to be at a lot of events, and too many sometimes. But, I respect her, not respect her enough, I respect her time. Like, she's not the public figure that I am.
Autonomy. Y'all both have autonomy in this relationship, and when y'all are sharing space, y'all are really in there enjoying each other in that space. I never see one person over in the corner miserable. So I love that about the two.
Well, like for your grand opening on Friday, I was so happy to be there for her, right? You know, like I was there for Teresa. I was there for you, but you understand, like her being a part of your incredible practice felt so good that it wasn't Faye What, it was Teresa's wife, Clifton's friend. You know what I mean?
Like I could have just hired you to like capture the event because like it was all over the Facebook the next day. I was like, oh my god! I was like, oh my god, where did this come from? And it's Faye. Faye is all in there. So, but the way that you show up in supporting her, you know, and I saw the pictures throughout the weekend where you were celebrating her birthday and just like the experiences that she was actually not a part of, but being honored at. Like, I love that. That's real, genuine, celebrated love. I love that part. So
I love that.
Y'all
I
are
love
models.
that. Thank you. Well, I mean, no, but don't even take that as a model thing, okay? We work at it. If people should work at it. We let it go, then we come back to it, you know.
Take
you know,
the compliment.
I'm taking a compliment. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
Y'all are
sorry.
models.
We're
Like,
models.
Yes.
Sorry.
I mean, you're not perfect,
No.
but you're models.
No,
Yeah.
no. And every day we work at it more and more, and I will continue to work at it because it's that important to me, you know? So thank you, Clifton, for being on my show. I freaking love you so much. I love you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and helping couples out who want it to be Valentine's Day all the time, you know? I mean, we all have to work at it. It takes work, but it's so worth it at the end.
If more people were smiling, like, I think we'd all be a little bit happier, right?
Oh, I love it. Well, look into that camera and say, Faye, what?
Faye, what?
And tell them where they can watch your Cliff Notes podcast, where they can hear your...
wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know, I wasn't going to let that go. Cliff Notes, baby, with Clifton Fair.
Oh, we gotta turn the lights back on. So you can look at Cliff Notes Podcast at on YouTube, Instagram. It's at Cliff Notes Podcast. And we have a lot of great people on there. I have yet to be able to bring Faye along.
But it's coming.
That's on me, but that is coming. So stay tuned. But just some snippets on how to actually help overcome some of those challenges in business or in your personal life from some professionals out there in the world that might be able to give you some additional insight.
I love that. So make sure that you follow Clifton Fair and also follow Be Fair Counseling on social media, okay? You can also call 954-600-0551. Right?
Yes,
Reach out to them for services. That is what they're there for. Okay? Suffering is optional. Okay? Suffering is optional. You don't have to live with how you feel. If you're feeling bad, there is help.
And you don't
Please search it.
You don't have to do it alone.
And you don't have to do it alone.
Don't
And
do it alone.
you're not alone.
Yeah,
That's it. You're alone right now watching this. Guess what? You're not alone. Right?
we're right here.
We're right here. All right. So Be Fair. That's FEHR. Okay? Get it straight. Well, not straight, but you know what I mean. All right. I love you, Clifton. I love you
too.
so
Thank
much.
Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day to you
Happy
guys.
Valentine's
We will be
Day.
right back. So that's it. That's the Faye What Show. I hope that you had fun. Thank you so much to Alex Dikas for joining me in bed and for Clifton Fair for just showing us how couples can make Valentine's Day every day. Folks, you know, I'm really passionate about trying to connect the L and the G in our LGBTQ plus community. It's often hard for us girls, but if we believe that we are one strong community, then we must support all the letters of our LGBT and Q+. We opened the show with a nod to Mary Tyler Moore, and that girl's Marlo Thomas, because this show is dedicated to a strong LGBTQ plus community. I just encourage you to be a little bit kinder, a little bit funnier, and embrace our tremendous diversity, because it really is what makes us so damn strong. Until then, make sure you follow me on all social media outlets: Facebook, IG, Blue Sky, TikTok, YouTube. Follow Faye What. Until next Tuesday at 9 a.m. live or anytime on demand. I'm Faye What, and I am #ThatGirl. I wish you a week full of sunshine and rainbows. Stay gay.
Rainbows, gay boys, #that girl. Sunbeams, drag queens, L-word. Is that girl the girl of all our dreams? She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, #that girl. Pride-filled, tea-dance, Wilton. Is that girl Latina, but she's universal too?